7900 XT versus 6800 XT. Is the upgrade worth it? Let's find out. Hello everyone, as you can tell I'm not a professional YouTuber. I'm using my phone to record this, so sorry for the poor audio quality. Today we're going to be pitting the Sapphire Pulse 6800 XT against AMD's new lineup, the 7900 XT, the XFX Speedster Merc. Sorry, I had to think about that for a moment. It's quite the name, quite the handful. So today we're going to be comparing the two. We're going to put them in a test suite that I have compiled of the games I own. And we're going to be testing mostly FPS and power usage and whether or not the 7900 XT is overkill for gamers and if it's enough for streamers. So before we get too much into it, let's show you the charts. Here's a comparison of the two side by side. They're basically the same size. I do believe though that the Sapphire has a smaller mid fan than the XFX. But overall, if you have the Sapphire Pulse in your case already, you should be able to fit the XFX 7900 XT. Alright, so there are the charts. There are a few other things I would like to touch upon while I got your attention. And pardon me, it's kind of hard for me to remember all this information, so I'm going to go down through this list on my phone and give you a bit of my 2 cents. So first off, as stated before with the software list that I put up, we're using AMD Adrenalin version 23.5.2 at the time of recording. We have got the quick setup and it's set to gaming. We're using image sharpening, automatic. We're using the anti-lag. We got the 6800 XT plus both the 7900 XT with normal power draw and with the reduced power draw, also undervolted. Everything was undervolted. All of the games were set to ultra settings at 1080p. I didn't put that in the software, but I'm telling you right now. Let's see. Some key notes. Red Dead Redemption 2 used all 16 gigs of RAM on the 6000xt. So that's happening on an old game already. I don't know how many years old it is right now. It's at least 2, 3, or 4. So one positive you're going to get with this 7900xt is you have 20 gigs of RAM. And let's see, what else? The noise level of the GPU is on par with the Sapphire. When the power was reduced, the fans rarely ramped up at all, so it's actually quieter than all my other case fans. The case I am using is the Cougar Panzer Max glass. On that note with that case, if you intend on installing the air guard that's in it, kind of looks stupid without it, in my personal opinion. But the 7900 XTX FXX Merc barely fits. It's pushing down. The very end of that graphics card is pushing down on that ventilation. I don't know what you'd want to call it. Yeah, that thing. You'll see if you own that. All right, and some more positives. The 7900 XT supports AV1 encoding. It's, got more VRAM. It's got a lot of the extra bells and whistles that come with RDNA 3 that RDNA 2 doesn't have. Support for, DisplayPort 2.1. All this stuff you can read. Now for the drawbacks, and these are the drawbacks that I experienced. I'm running 3 monitors right now. 2 are set at 60 hertz refresh rate. 1 is set at 240 hertz refresh rate. When I set my Asus TUF 24-inch, I can't remember the model name, but if I set it to 240 hertz, as of right now with this driver version, you have some random flickering that happens while you're not playing games or running video. If you are running video, playing games, watching YouTube, the display doesn't flicker. Very odd. If you set the display hertz, the refresh rate, to 144 hertz, this anomaly goes away. The problem is that because 144 is not divisible by 60, the idle power of the FXX Merc goes from 40 watts at 240 hertz display to 100 watts idle usage at 144 hertz. So it's a major drawback with that. And one other thing that I did experience is that I did have a crash. Now, what was I playing? I was playing Across the Obelisk. Very low usage. It might have been from my undervoltage. I since then removed the undervolt, but kept the power slider at -10. So far I haven't crashed, but that doesn't mean that it was the undervolting that caused the crash. Do be aware that right now there is still many bugs for the drivers for the new 7000 series graphics cards. So if you buy one, you may experience oddities. The other thing you're going to experience is the price. Now, if you looked at the charts, you can get the 6800 XT right now, I think, for around $400 or $500. Don't quote me on this. That was the last time I checked. Whereas right now, the 7900 XT is $800 for my variant, plus the Sapphire Pulse is also $800, roughly. So that's about a $200 to $300 price difference. And as we saw in our charts, and I've also run other tests that don't have benchmarks, there is a minimal RAM increase, especially when you reduce the power draw to that is comparable to the 6800 XT. It's almost like they took the 6800 XT or the 6900 XT, we'll use that as an example, and they just upped the power limit, and that's how they got all this other performance. Realistically, for a gamer, you're just not getting enough out of that extra $200, $300. Now, if you're a streamer and a gamer, the AV1 encoding, the extra VRAM, things like that, yeah, all that comes into play. And so it may seem like an okay buy. It may seem like something you want to upgrade to. But speaking strictly from a gamer standpoint, it's not worth it. You might as well start tinkering in your Adrenaline software to get, a higher wattage, higher power draw, higher frequencies, and you can push that extra, 5 to 10% that we're seeing at that -10 power draw for the 7900 XT. And as you see, that -10 caps it at 305. That's still higher than the 6800 XT. It's still more wattage. So it's not very efficient. Not from what I'm experiencing as of right now with the latest driver version 23.5.2. Everyone, that is all I have for today. I hope some of this information will help someone. Sorry if it's a little rough cut. Sorry if some audio is kind of messed up or, poor quality. Same with the charts. I tried. I'm working with LibreOffice trying to get a high resolution photo of the charts to display. It was very difficult. I couldn't do it. I don't have the time to put into it. The last thing I'm going to say is if you want me to continue to do follow-up videos on anything between the two cards or the new driver versions for the 7900 XT FXX Merc, leave a comment. Everyone have a wonderful day.